Hello, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting session of Beyond Classroom, an initiative by ELIT's Digital Learning, where we bring together visionaries and change makers who are shaping the future of education. I'm Ilma, and I have the honor of moderating today's esteemed panel. We have incredible panelists who are transforming the education landscape with innovation, technology, and groundbreaking ideas. Before we dive in, let me set the stage for today's discussion. The Middle East is witnessing a dynamic shift in education with a surge in edtech adoption, digital transformation, and global collaborations. As we explore the trends and challenges shaping the region's educational future, I encourage our audience to actively engage, share thoughts, and ask questions. I'm thrilled to welcome our esteemed panelists who have been actively shaping the education landscape. We have with us Mr. Shivam Dixit, the CEO of Counsel India. Shivam is driving innovation in skill based learning and mentorship. We also have with us Jennifer Huang, founder and CEO at hihilulu. Jennifer is transforming early education, childhood education through interactive and multilingual platforms. I would like to take time and extend my gratitude to all of you for joining in today. Now, let's dive right into our discussion. To set the stage, let's start with each of you introducing your organization. What is your company's mission, and how is it innovating in the education sector? So, Jennifer, let's start with you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me today. It's my great pleasure to introduce hihilulu to your audience. So, what is hihilulu? Hihilulu is actually an immersive Chinese language education platform for young children. And because of our very unique proprietary methodology, which is called the snowballing method, which set us apart from all the other Chinese language education solutions, we become the best-in-class offer to, for the time being, private institutions. So we work with Montessori and international schools in many countries and offer them a new innovative hybrid new way of learning Chinese. So this is what we do to help schools who lack the expertise in Chinese language. We also help them to train and certify Chinese language teachers everywhere. So we have also hihilulu Academy offer constantly a full set of Chinese language teaching and learning training regularly in each season online under our sub-brand hihilulu Academy and our expert team. Thank you.
That's a great work you are doing in shaping young minds. Shivam, how about you? If you can give a brief introduction of your company to our viewers, and if you can share an example of how your work is reshaping education.
Sure, sure. So thank you so much everyone for having me here today, and especially Elites for inviting me. So Counsel India is a kind of edtech company which is delivering services or courses in psychology. So our core is mental health. We started in 2016. So it's almost 8 years we are working in this segment. And our vision in Hindi, we say Har Ghar Counselor. It means every family must have one counselor. That's the vision that we hold because most of the time we feel that any problem starts with family only, right? If every family has a person who is equipped with counseling skills, at least 90% of problem will solve on the day one only. Why problems get exaggerated or why they expand? Because we don't get right person to talk to, or we don't get right person to share our problems, and then problem gets increased. So when we started this company in 2016, that time we had a vision to deliver personal counseling services so that we can help people with mental health. But slowly and gradually we understood that the problem is very, very high, and just giving personal counseling is not going to solve the purpose in mental health industry. And that gives us a push to come up with upskilling courses in psychology and mental health or in counseling. So in 2018 we started with courses, and we realized that India need 47 lakh counselors. I'm only talking about India. And when we talk about the ratio, so every 1 lakh population, we need 3 psychologists, but we have 0.7. So there's a 2.3 shortage on every 1 lakh population. So it's a huge demand, or I would say huge need of psychologists or counselors or mental health professionals in our country. And that is the reason we started in 2018. We started with some programs in association with Skill India, and slowly and gradually we collaborated with other universities. We also have our own flagship programs where we train people, teach people about mental health services, counseling courses. And one more factor we added into it, that is entrepreneurship, because we realized after doing course people are not able to get job, because even though there are very less jobs in mental health, right? So we started helping people how to build setup, how to start their own venture. So that was a time when a lot of people, they did our course and they started their own ventures, like their own clinics and all. And
Wow. Yeah.
last year like from our students only, there were 25 ventures which came into the market, and they are delivering mental health services. Somebody is holistic healer, somebody is a tarot card reader, but now they are counselors. So multiple
Wow.
areas people have, they have come. Retired army army officers, they have started their venture. Then retired IAS, IAFS bureaucrats, after
Mhm.
retirement, they are doing they have done a course and they started their own venture. So there are a lot of success stories which we have built, the loyalty that we have built. But yes, in short, we are on a robust mission to give every family at least one counselor.
Yes.
And we have almost 15,000 plus alumni still now.
Wow.
More
Wow.
than 2 lakh learners have taken services from us.
Yeah.
So this is what we are. We are in 22 countries. We
Oh.
are working with university from Switzerland, EIMT Switzerland. We are working with 3 Indian universities, Galgotia, VGU, and we are also working with MEPSC, one of the sector skill council, which falls under NSDC, National Skill Development Council.
Yes. Yes.
So this is what our journey.
It's a remarkable work that you're doing, and I'm speechless. It's amazing that you're putting in so much work, and you know. So now, since our discussion today is mostly revolving around the Middle East, I'd like to address that the Middle East is witnessing a dynamic shift in education and edtech. So, how do you see your respective organizations expanding or making an impact in this region? Jennifer, I'd like you to express your views on this particular subject matter.
Well, this is a very big, interesting topic for many edtech companies in Europe or other region. We are an edtech company based in Paris, France,
Right.
and we have got a lot of let's say prizes and awards. So somehow we are quite well known in our own region. However, we caught the attention by accidentally, actually, from some very positive reactions to our communications in UAE first. So that triggered us to investigate the market. And then we discovered that indeed a market like UAE is very unique. It is highly privatized, but with a very dynamic, competitive ecosystem of education K-12. We were very surprised to learn this. And since then, we had put a special effort into market like Dubai and Abu Dhabi and UAE market to see how this market could evolve for us as part of global expansion. And from UAE, we had also just touched a little bit now of Saudi Arabia
Okay.
and also other markets. And we had some interesting discussions with some distributors and active players in the K-12 private sector and also government public sector. And we are learning a lot. So in general, I think it's a surprisingly forward-looking region in
Right.
terms of innovation,
Yes.
digitalization, transformation of
Investment.
classic
Yeah.
education. And we had absolutely, in Europe, we had absolutely underestimated the dynamics and the will of change in those very promising region. So for us, Middle East become a very strategic market focus now, and starting from UAE and Saudi and others. So it's particularly my special strategic focus as CEO of the company to develop positively and fastly and offer solution to potential customers who are interested in introducing innovative Chinese programs to their students.
Amazing. That's really remarkable. So now, Shivam, I wanted to ask you, what are some of the key opportunities and the challenges that you think one faces when entering the UAE and Middle East education market? And I
And
mean,
see,
yeah.
we get is very, I would say, innovative. We about uh, talk about the students which who are in school, like the school students.
Mhm.
So the problem we have noticed, like we have clients from UAE who are have under the teenage area, teenage group.
Right.
So there's a lot of distraction, social media, or a kind of, I would say, even in schools, students are like they are very much aggressive, and
Yes.
it becomes a very core responsibility for a teacher to handle that situation. And even UAE schools are so concerned that if a student makes a mistake, they send him to a counselor or a psychologist for a counseling mandatory and come up with a certificate, and then they give him entry in the class again.
Right.
This is not in India actually, but this system is there in UAE.
Mhm.
So that makes the opportunity for psychologists or counselors even more when we talk about the UAE market, and also the working professional. Just because the standards are very high, so the delivery expectations are very high. So in that particular time, it becomes a very stressful situation for working professionals to deliver the right service at the right time. So working
Yes.
under those circumstances for working professional is very difficult, and they have to manage their work and the personal life. And we are trying our level best to level up. We have some clients from Dubai whom we are delivering corporate sessions like EWP, Employee Wellbeing Program. So
Wow. Okay.
so from there we realize that a lot of improvement has to take place in context to mental health even in Dubai,
Right.
even in the entire, if you talk about
Yes.
Jeddah or Oman,
Yeah.
some areas which need special attention about mental health.
Mhm.
Because you just imagine a situation where if a student is not mentally fit, or if a student is not mentally conditioned properly, how can he go to a college or maybe in the work culture and perform at the best? And that is the
Mhm.
seed of stress, which leads to anxiety, which leads to depression, which may lead to suicidal tendencies. So but the seed is it comes from schooling only. So the correction has to be done in the schooling system or the education system, where students are getting conditioned that how to take their handle their life, how to manage problems, how to manage situations. So we are working in that segment there, especially in the UAE.
Not just,
We, yeah.
speaking technologically, I mean, you're doing a great humanitarian work as well. Focusing if, Jennifer, if you want to add something to that.
Yes, I think we had learned this market in general is extremely positive and welcoming of digital innovation, and the readiness is there. But however, we had also faces challenges, right? So not only because of cultural challenges, for example, we have to adapt our content or locally to meet the cultural needs and religious need. But that is a very minor challenge we face. The real big challenge is that despite the welcoming attitude to Chinese
Mhm.
language, despite that the ministries, for example, the Ministry of Education in UAE and Saudi, they all had recognized Chinese officially as a second foreign language.
Okay.
However, because there are parallel multi-language requirement, the Arab and the English, so it's very difficult to, let's say, to change the mindset and stereotype of Chinese language learning.
Right.
In fact, Chinese language learning should be open to all the different backgrounds and cultural students rather than only to Chinese. However, the typical stereotype is still okay, it's Chinese language, so let's focus on Chinese heritage, right? As
Mhm.
heritage program for Chinese natives. that had limited a lot of access and the possibility for some top schools. And so this is a mentality that we are facing, and we are trying to challenge it, to introduce challenge as an equally new way of improving children's cognitive skills, because this language is so different to the alphabetic Latino language, let's say, right? So we are trying to introduce this language from a different angle to make it easy to get accepted and enter into schools and classrooms. For example, Chinese, the methodology we apply, snowballing method, give a very different methodology to learn the language, and it requires a lot of both, let's say, both hemispheres work, brain training, cognitive skills, problem solving, and use more of your broca area to train the brain of young children as well. And secondly, is also language is a carrier and medium of culture. If we introduce a language earlier, to a very strange language to most people, to the young mind, they would get very good awareness to the different culture, therefore also to have built the understanding of multicultural awareness. That is very important in nowadays world. And so we're not talking about just one single language education in a way. And I think this is a challenge we face, and we're trying to put a lot of effort in the communication from the school to parents and to Chinese teacher community, to see the language with a new transformative innovation and with a new kind of philosophy, So that is the first challenge. Second challenge we face is, although the market looks very commercial and dynamic, however, there are indeed a lot of regulations that as outsider, the first time arriver, you don't know. So there's a learning curve for everybody to learn and adapt the real business pretext and conditions. I think many companies coming from outside had a long learning curve to be able to run the business smoothly. And we had to spend a lot of time. Of course, we are very patient. We have spent a lot of time and effort to understand the local business culture, the local regulation. No one will tell you that, but you need to really give some time and patience to adapt and learn, but then also to give a positive push to your prospects and potential customers. So it takes time and it takes strategic movement. Yeah, that's what we learned. Yeah.
Amazing. So you've been patient with the process of adapting since and using technology as well. So I wanted to discuss technology since we're talking about innovation. So technology is playing, a crucial role in transforming education. So I wanted to ask, how do you see AI, automation, and personalized learning, shaping the future? So Shivam, if you can weigh in on this.
I'll tell you.
Yes.
When it comes to human touch or the emotional transformation, so there, when it comes about AI, so AI it is helpful in context to psychometric analysis or psychometric testing.
Yes.
So understand how it is going to happen. For example, we have taken a psychometric test. So a counselor has to sit physically and analyze a report and then create an analysis. But now there are AI-driven psychometric tests which can take data of 500 students at a time, and you can get result of all the students within an hour. So, but I would say mental health industry has not impacted much by AI, and even it will not be impacted in a longer run, because it's a kind of industry where you need human touch. Let's take an example. If I have a depression, I cannot expect an AI to treat me.
Yes.
Even there are a lot of key points that when I'm sitting in front of a person, I have to take his history. I have to analyze his background. I have to analyze the gesture. Is he crying or not? Then I have to empathize. I have to show some sympathy. Then show some stories, and then dig out and understand his problem more and more, make him more comfortable with me so that he can come up with problem. So I mean, AI cannot do this in and out. But there are some companies whom we are working. Even there's a company from Australia. I'm not getting the name. They're working on this project very dedicatedly, and they have also failed in the second stage, not in the first stage. First stage, what is first stage? First stage means any person having any problem, he comes, and in AI he can feed in the problem. I mean, the history is taken, and a first level of analysis has given that this person has this degree of depression or that degree of anxiety. First, is it
Mhm.
minor? Is it major? Is it intermediate? And he can give you some generalized suggestion. Likewise, but when it comes to actual treatment, or
Mhm.
maybe in severe cases a medication is required for anybody, for anybody who is a student or a working professional or anybody. So there you need a human touch. There you need somebody to understand the emotion. There you need somebody to improvise as per situation.
Mm.
Okay, so AI here in this particular industry, I would say it's limited till first stage, but after that, you need somebody, and that is one of the reason why mental health industry is not able to grow with that speed because counselors are not that much, and AI or any technology cannot replace it all of a sudden. Like digital marketing is replaced, or graphic designing or editing, all these areas have replaced, but it might take time, or currently though there is no as such second stage which AI can replace. So it's like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Jennifer, if you would like to weigh in on
Yes.
this.
Well,
Yeah.
I think all edtech companies are observing and watching and developing own strategies of generative AI now, I believe. Um, it's still at a very early stage.
Mhm.
And for us, our target customers are kids from 3 to 12, most of them, and then extend the maximum to 14-year-old because we promote immersive language acquisition. So
Right.
we, in our current digital platform, we do apply AI, very simple, the basic ones. For example, a voice training part, we have speech training. We do
Mhm.
use some basic feature to train and encourage them and to have slowly a dialogue with our software, you know. So that, but that is a very fundamental basic application of voice
Right.
AI. It has already taken us in modification and adaptation to the real usage scenario. It has taken us a lot of time to adopt and polish. Now, what's going on with the new AI technology, for example, last week is DeepSeek, all of those things, of course, it's very revolutionary to a tech company like us, especially we are in language education. It brings a new enhancement from
Mhm.
text to visual to
Visual.
even video, right? So
Right.
that is groundbreaking and new technology we can apply to improve our features. We look at it, but as we are working with young children, and we all understand in K-12 that the interaction from the real teacher inside of a classroom towards a young children is not replaceable. So
Absolutely.
what
Yeah.
AI could do is enhancement for after that human interaction. So AI could do is enhancement at home when teacher is not there. Then we could think about a virtual smart teacher. That
Yes.
is one direction, and to use our academic content even more interactively through the screen with children. However, we should know the limit. They are young children, and it's impossible to have children only immersed in the digital world to pick up a language. You know. Second one is indeed we can apply it to give a lot of more autonomy and freedom and flexibility to teacher. We have academic system, lesson by lesson, level by level. It's strictly required for 4 language skills.
Okay.
However, we could our system is the guideline year over year. We could use those new AI applications to
Mhm.
allow teacher to come up with creative,
Creative
autonomous,
idea. Yeah. Yeah.
new courseware to enhance our streamlined guideline. And that I see is going to explode uh, by teacher taking initiative of using such new tool. And same apply to student. So we are still, like most of the edtech companies, analyzing this and see how this can be applied. We do believe by using it into our existing innovation, digital innovation, we can enhance absolutely a personalized, more and more personalized user experience, user learning experience. So that is, we receive it very positive. And there are different staged plan of leveraging what we have. But the technique application is still at a very early stage, and we will see how this can be. And you need test. You need to see how it works out in the user end, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think from what Shivam proposed and from what I can, grasp from what you just explained, that human touch, whether it's young minds, what Jennifer is dealing with, or the teenagers, what Shivam is dealing with, I think a human touch is inherent to education still, whether no matter how much we digitize or, so we can take this forward and try building an AI tools and AI automation systems where we can bring that personal touch to our softwares to give that to young minds again. So taking that forward, Jennifer, we've seen seen significant investments in education reforms from Middle Eastern governments. So how do you think these policies are encouraging global collaborations and attracting foreign investments in the region?
Well, we have just touched some of the contacts in those field, and for us as a new arrival at a company, probably the story is even a little bit more vice versa, because we are also looking at the local business development and local capital investment. I have to say I was very impressed by the bold move by for example, the UAE's government and Saudi government, who had put a lot of effort, capital investment into the education and AI movement as well. And we had been impressed by delegates, for example, last year from the UAE government in Paris to attend VivaTech, and we had listened to their vision and their effort to try to attract innovative edtech company to there, and even giving some financial support of such company, and particularly in AI field. So that was quite impressive. I think it definitely attract a lot of companies like us to have a second thought of where you're going, where you can raise more new round of capital to boost your global presence and business development. We are thinking in that way as well. I think it's a positive ping pong effect both ways.
Right. So previously, since Jennifer, you were talking about challenges, I wanted to ask Shivam, in your opinion, how do you think we better integrate mental health support into education and improve learning outcomes and reduce the skill gap?
Okay. Skill. I mean, I didn't get the question properly. Is it about skill gap?
Yes. How do you think we can better integrate mental health support in our education to improve the learning outcomes and reduce that skill gap that we usually, that the workforce demands?
See, skill gap. First, you have to understand that why the skill gap comes. Like, why
Right.
is the skill gap? Because if we know the answer of why, then we can come up with multiple solutions. So this
Absolutely.
skill gap is generated because of two things. Number one, that a person don't know that what I have to do in my life. And
Mhm.
at some point in time, suddenly they realize that I want to have this. I need to have this. I need to have this. And now there is no scope in this particular area, so I should switch here. I should switch there. So a kind of a focus or a kind of a roadmap has to be given to a student or anybody. Will it be a college graduate, a PG student, or a school student? Has to be given to that person that what I need to do, what are the market trends. Even if we talk about people who are into AI, for AI is a new system. It was not, if you go back 10 years back, so there was no AI, right?
Yes.
So now people are learning AI. Everybody is
Mhm.
learning AI. Everybody is learning ChatGPT, DeepSeek. They're understanding the prompts. They're understanding
Yeah.
that how technology works. So skill gap number one comes when a person don't have a focus. They don't know where I have to land after 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, where I have to reach. The end goal has to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Second skill gap comes when a kind of a proper mentoring or monitoring is not done for a student at the right point in time, right? For
Absolutely.
example, mostly schools I have seen, they do a lot of career counseling or a guidance in 10th
Mhm.
class when the student is in 10th grade or 9th grade,
Yeah.
because that was the right time to nurture a kid
Yes.
to any direction,
Yeah.
right?
When they're presented with multiple choices of
Correct, correct.
pursuing.
And skill
Yeah.
gap also comes when I have actual interest in doing something. For example, I don't have any interest in AI, but I am being forced to do that. Number one. Or let's suppose my friend is doing it, so I should also go in that. But after 5 years, I realized ki, okay, I came into the wrong area.
Yeah.
Mostly this happens when you see your peers doing something that, oh,
You're
wow,
pursuing.
your
Yeah.
friend is going in the direction, I should also go. But your friend might have interest in fashion designing, doesn't mean you will also have interest in fashion designing, right?
Yes.
So a proper career path or a roadmap has to be given to student or anybody at right point, so that they can analyze their strengths, weaknesses at the right point, and they can make a proper roadmap. And
Mm.
even in skill gap, we have to make that individual understand that what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses, because even skill gap comes when we don't know our strengths, our weaknesses. For example, if my weakness is business, so I cannot run a company, right?
Right.
Understanding profit and loss doesn't makes you a businessman. You have to you should have a lot of skills in you. And I heard somewhere that uh, nobody in this world has no skills. Everybody has skills.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There is nobody, either it is you or Jennifer or me. We all have skills. There's nobody is traveling without skill. But one very major problem that everybody goes through is using right skill at right point of time in our lives. Many times we realize that I was sitting in an interview, my interviewer has asked me something, and I was not able to answer that. But after leaving from the interview, I realized, oh, I should have given this answer. I should have given.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I am doing some work, and once that is spoiled, after a month, I realize, oh, I would have done that. Yeah, this was
Right.
my skills. But so the point is, using the right skill at the right time is also important. Skill gap is a different thing. We all have skills. We all can learn skills.
Mhm.
If we are dedicated to anything, we can learn. We can dedicate our time, energy, efforts, everything. But implementation is also required, and implementation comes with practice. The more you
Absolutely.
practice, the more you learn. And
Yeah.
that is the reason why there are a lot of people who can do us one task in 1 minute, and at the same time, somebody else can do the task in next 10 hours. Maybe
Hmm.
somebody writing a mail is a 1 minute task, and for somebody writing an email is a 4 hour or 5 hour task.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
completely depends how you do it.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree. So, as we near the end of our conversation, I would like to know each of your perspectives on the future of education, your final thoughts on the subject matter. So, looking ahead 10 years, how do you envision the education landscape evolving? What major changes do you foresee?
Well, I think AI then will play a big role. That is absolutely for sure. And
Yeah.
also smart robot. I could foresee it in the near future. This will really be a groundbreaking technology. That's true. That's true. And secondly, I think a big shift would be
Mhm.
a redefinition of human teacher.
Right.
So for the time being, with enhanced digital tools, the definition of teacher's role classically has been already changed. I know many educators have problem to accept this fact, but in reality, indeed, we need to have a new generation of educators and teachers who are masterful with new technologies and bring in a new way of learning and teaching. Maybe in the future, we even don't necessarily have to have a mortar and brick school and classroom,
Mm-hmm.
because the AI indeed would change how our next generations learn and get knowledge. Learning is about getting knowledge. Nowadays, it doesn't have to be only in classroom, and we all have to face the fact, which means that the teacher's role as a knowledge carrier and giver would be vastly changed. And then how we deal with this by remaining human touch, human interaction, and human skills which cannot be replaced by AI is very important. And I think that will be defined in the next 10 years very quickly. And we will see that particularly to educators, this
Mm-hmm.
is something really, I would say, revolutionary.
Absolutely. Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. Shivam, as someone with a focus on innovation, what are some of the key areas in education that you think we can see the most growth in the next decade?
See, what I am seeing is a different thing, but what I feel it should be, it's a
Mm-hmm.
different thing. So I am seeing everything becoming robotized,
Mm-hmm.
technology coming into picture, and
Mm-hmm.
which is building more mental health problems.
Right.
This is
Right.
what I feel.
From a
But
mental health perspective, yeah.
yeah, because
Yes.
the more robotic we are, the more health issues will come. Because you go previous days, so there was no, there were very less health issues. The lifespan were more. Nowadays, 40, 50, 60 is the max. Earlier, it was 100, people used to live. So why it is happening? Everything is starting because of the culture that has come now. So and you know what? Like what kind of education system I feel that it should be? It should be, and even there are some schools, some education board, for example, international board, IB board has implemented like learning by doing. It's very important. See, no matter how much you read from books, no matter how much you write, but if you're not doing, you cannot learn. So learning has to be
Yeah.
by doing. I cannot teach somebody drawing without painting anything, right? I have
Mm-hmm.
to do it and then learn. In the same way, will it be any language, will it be mental health, will it be anything, history or culture, anything? I can only expect a person to reach the top only after implementing it, only after actually doing it. For example, I have read a lot about Ajanta Ellora caves or maybe some historic monument. But if I go there, I see it, I can never forget it that I
Mm-hmm.
reach that place. So it is more of exposure, exploring something new, visiting there. So one is learning by doing, other one is next is work integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Once you come in a graduation or a post graduation kind of a place, like once you're in your 80s or 18 or 20, 21, 22 age group, you should have an habit of being into the education system where you are learning and doing work integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Work integrated means you are side by side you are studying and parallelly you have started doing an internship or some volunteer work, because at the end of the day what you have to do, you have to work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good. Even when I go to universities and colleges for sessions, a lot of students ask that what should I do? Should I start doing internship when I'm in college, first year, second year, third year, or shall I wait till my graduation? So I always say it is always good to start from day one. Even I started working when I was in graduation first year. I
Agree. Yeah.
concept of business came in my mind when I was in 10th class. I used to sell CDs and pen drive, putting the data in that, and I used to earn some 10, 15 rupees, 20 rupees. So it is not that I should wait to get a degree or a certificate, then start something. Rather, work integrated, working from the day one. We should not wait that I'll do this and then I'll start digital marketing, I'll do this and then I'll start AI, I'll
Mm-hmm.
wait. So we should not wait. Every day is important and every day matters in our life, and that is something which a lot of schools and colleges have already implemented, and student or anybody has to understand this, that school is not the end of my life,
Exactly.
not
We
everything.
we we see a lifelong learning everywhere,
Correct.
and
Even
from all resources, school, college, university do not have to be the only resources of a
Mm-hmm.
qualified education. You know, yeah,
correct. Even
absolutely.
I try this. when I am stuck in ideas, I don't get ideas. I am completely brainwashed. I close my eyes and sit and meditate. When I sometimes feel that I should just see people walking. I have learned a lot the way people walk, the kind of gestures they do, how they are talking. Are they aggressive while they're talking? Are they like what kind of movement they are doing? Are they going slow? It means they are sad. Are they going fast? It means there is something happening in their mind. So there is a lot to learn, but school is not the end. So we should keep our learning on. Anybody can teach us, no matter he's a teacher or a beggar. Anybody can teach you, and it just
Yeah,
depends. It depends on you
absolutely. I
that
fully
how
agree.
you
Yes,
take things,
fully agree.
how you
Yeah,
perceive it. Are you wasting your time on media, or you are actually connected with a lot of human?
yes, yeah,
Right. Shivam,
I
I can
mean,
see the
there is a
entrepreneurial
lot to say, but
mindset.
yes, bring it
Yeah. I can see your entrepreneurial mindset and the impact
yes,
that you've had on today's Beyond Classroom session. I mean, it's a really fresh perspective that both of you have brought to the table today. Thank you all for sharing your invaluable insights today. It's clear that the future of education holds incredible potential in the Middle East, and your perspectives have provided a deeper understanding of how innovation, mental health, and alignment with workforce demands will shape the industry. As we move forward, I'm excited to see how these ideas evolve and what steps we'll take to drive meaningful change. I look forward to continuing these important conversations. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to take a moment to highlight ELIT's digital learning, a vertical of ELIT's Technomedia that has been at the forefront of education and technology advancements through various flagship initiatives across India and the Middle East. ELIT's digital learning brings together leaders, innovators, and educators to shape the future of learning. In fact, one such premier event is the Dubai World Education Summit, where global education stakeholders come together to discuss the latest trends, challenges, and innovations in the sector. Once again, I want to sincerely thank our panelists and audience for tuning into this insightful discussion. We hope you found today's discussion as inspiring and insightful as I have. Stay tuned for more such thought provoking conversations and keep innovating.